All right, sometimes gluing plants to rocks or wood can be a little frustrating, and especially if you're getting into aquascaping, that might not be something you want to deal with. What if you could even have arches and cones already pre-planted and made for you? Wouldn't that make things easier? Well, good news is you can. So check out all these super cool plants from AquaZen, you guys. We've got Java fern on arches and domes, Java windalev on driftwood. We've even got all these Anubias plants here on lava rock and driftwood, different styles of driftwood, and it's all done for you. If you have a simple aquascape like this, let's say you're not doing aqua soil, you could, but let's say you're doing gravel, you're doing rock, you just got a simple scape like this and you just want to dress it up, bring some greenery into it. Let me show you how easy it is. You grab this little piece of driftwood here with this Anubias, you could tuck it into like a little corner right there. You could grab a piece of driftwood if you just want to accent it a little bit more like this, lay something in there like that. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff together here in seconds, you guys, but you know, you could take a couple things like this and go from what was a simple scape like that to a really cool, pretty scape like this. Check this out. Let's grab this Nana Golden over here, and you could have a little nanoscape like this with some sand. You could just drop this thing right in here. And now you not only have a plant and greenery, but you also have driftwood. And you don't have to worry about aqua soil. You don't have to worry about gluing. You don't have to deal with any of those things because it's all done for you. Let me show you what it would even look like in a tank. Let's say we grab this little Anubias right here on this cool little piece of lava rock. And so check this out, you guys. In this tank right here, I've got this little crypt, Winty Brown. It's kind of dying back a little bit. I could just, as an example, grab this on a rock. I could tuck it into a pocket like this and just let go. And I've got a beautiful Anubias sitting here accenting this awesome piece of driftwood. But there are so many other things that you can do. I mean, for example, I'll take it out of that scape and I'll put it in this one. And now check this out. Like I could find a pocket like that. I could drop that in there. And now with Dragonstone, I mean, this is a scape that's really fun and popular, of course, with Dragonstone, but you know, you've got to add a little bit of greenery to this thing. And now with a little bit of a taller scape like this, I could be looking at some different options where I could go like this. I could get a couple more Anubias in here like that. You know what? I think I'm going to actually take this out and I'll bring that golden back in like this, and we'll have that just kind of sitting here in front and just create like a little bit of a plant wall in the front. And you know what? I'm gonna do one better. I'm gonna grab this Monte Carlo. Check this out real quick. This is Monte Carlo, and it's actually in rock wool, but it's also in agar, which helps keep it nutrient rich, like you might see in a tissue culture. Now this, if you don't know, doesn't require soil. So what you can do with this is you can break pieces of it apart. In this case, I'm gonna actually keep it pretty together, but you could break pieces of this apart and you could put it across the Dragonstone. Here, I'll just give you an example. I can just tear a piece like that apart, pop it in a pocket. I can tear another piece off. I could pop it in a pocket like this. I could take this whole clump, you know, and I could put it right here or right here. And what this is going to do is it's going to grow and it's gonna actually cascade down the rock. And you know what else you can do with this? Check this out. You could have like a triangle composition like this, and because you have this vertical piece that has got these steep edges, you could put it up here like this and just, whoop, that'll happen, and just let it sit. I can even leave that as it is. Just let it sit in a pocket. You don't even have to glue it. You don't have to tie it down. Let it sit right there. If it floats on you, tie it down, but let it grow and expand. I actually have this in a tank that I have at home where I've been trimming it on a piece of spiderwood, and it's been expanding and growing and creating a super cool dome. So whether you want it to cascade down the rocks or you want it to expand as like a dome like that, that's what Monte Carlo will do for you. So take advantage of it, but check out how these are greening up. You know what? Check this out. I'm gonna take this Java fern on a piece of driftwood. I'm just gonna drop it right here in this little nanoscape, and all of a sudden this becomes so much more interesting and so much more beautiful at the same time. So no matter what type of scape you've got, and we're gonna check out some others, this is a quick and easy way to get it done. But what about elephant stone? I mean, doing something a little less traditional than Cereus and Dragon, but using these accent pieces here to make it pop against the background of this rock is super cool, you guys. There's so many different options you have here. Check out this nano tank right here. I put a little piece of river rock in here with this cool little tree. And this actually was a bigger piece of spiderwood, to be honest with you, that I cut and sort of bonsai'd to look like this, because I can then take this Monte Carlo, and again, on this one, you guys, I wouldn't even separate it. I would take one clump, I would drop it right here to the top of this tree, and I would just let it cascade down over these branches, and then you could trim it up accordingly. You could take this rock out, for example, and you could put in, let's say, a little piece of Anubias right here, just like in the corner to accent this. You don't have to do that. You could take that Anubias out, and you could put one of these little caves in if you've got some little bottom dwellers. Maybe you're doing a little bit of breeding and you want to have a little cave in there, and you've got this cool tree that you're forming behind it. You know what else you can do with this cave, which is super awesome? You could put this in a guppy tank, like my first guppy tank, which I got right here in the studio. I could drop this down here, and your little cory cats, or maybe your breeding fish, or even the guppies would love to see this little cave in their habitat. So what if we were to do something like Cerio, you guys? Something actually more traditional, but with Cerio stone, I love to bunch it up. Personally, I just think it's cool when you cascade it, when you pile it. For me, it's like a piling rock, but different than what we were doing before, where we were putting everything out into the open in some cases. With Cerio, I think you could do something really cool where you put these actually in and around the rocks themselves and really tighten it up here. And you know, if you want to do all the same type of Anubias, you could totally do that. You just grab those types when you pick it up. But I think here, what I'd want to do is really try to create like a real like planted bunch of Cerio stone and wood kind of piled up together. You could even grab that Monte Carlo again, and that's really cool on Cerio. You could put that in this corner here like that. Let that, put another piece over here if you want. I'll break that off right here. Put that right there, and then let this just cascade down and cascade over the rocks, and you'll create a really cool effect. And over here with driftwood, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna pivot. I actually think this does need something out here in the open. So, and the driftwood just reminded me of it. You could put a piece of driftwood over here, and if that feels like it's actually too plain and you really want to go after it, you could bring this Java Windelev over here on a piece of wood, and then you could just set this up like this, and just imagine after a little bit of time when all of this grows in. It's gonna look amazing. Now, let's come over to this piece of Pacific driftwood right here in this little nano. And honestly, something like this, I just love to keep simple and modern. Like I'll take this little Anubias plant and I'll put it right here in a pocket. I always love to find like a little pocket, see what the right orientation is. Something like that where you've just got the Anubias popping out of the driftwood. It's nice and simple and clean. You could obviously go bigger if you wanted to, but something that I really like to do when it comes to nano aquariums. But what if you couldn't decide on which rock you wanted to use? You know what? You don't even have to. That's how cool these pieces are. Whether you just get a few of these or you get 5, 6, or 7 like we've got here, you can put them all in a tank just as they are, and you've got an aquascape already perfectly set. Oh wait, not perfectly set. I suppose we're still missing one thing.